All right, we'll kick this off. Welcome everyone to the webinar. So my name's Pat. For those of you that don't know me, I'm kind of in a bit of a mixed role at Fronius, but I'm managing the FSP program and looking after the training side of things as part of my role. And for those of you that don't know her, this is Mariella Doppelbauer, so I'm Managing Director at Fronius Australia, and we're glad that she's joining us for this session. So we're doing this as a pre-recorded session, but I will be there live to answer any questions that you have. So please, during the webinar, pop any questions you have into the chat box, and then I'll make sure to get back to you. So what we're doing in this session is looking at what's coming up in 2025. So looking back at 2024, one of the main focus areas for us was tech support and also stock. So how do you think we managed those two areas, Mariella?
First of all, I'm glad to be able to do that session again. I feel like we got really good feedback beginning of last year when we already looked into 2024. So that's a good checkpoint also to see if we managed to achieve all of our goals. But I actually feel like we've done really well. So as you said, one of our focus areas was to ensure really stock consistency for the Australian market. And I gotta say that I think we've almost hit 100%. Obviously, you can't have each and every product in each and every state onto the last quantity, but I think, I hope all of you out there would agree that whenever you needed a Fronius product, it was there at the right time and at the right place. And I gotta say 100% confident that we can assure that stability going forward also in 2025. So I think the topic stock, I think we can all put a tick next to it and move on to the next conversation, which you mentioned tech support. That is, as a high quality manufacturer, obviously that is one of our main focus areas to be able, we don't only want to sell the product, but if something happens, we want to make sure, we really provide the best service possible for the customer. And especially with launching the new 1024 product line, obviously customers had to get used to it. So our tech support has experienced then an increased income of calls and emails. Sure. So back in 2023, I think that's what we struggled a bit with and came a little bit unexpected. But we've also tried to communicate with you guys out there on social media that our tech support team is the biggest team we've ever had and is actually the biggest team within Fronius Australia. We're currently counting, I think, 17 people. Majority of them sitting here in Melbourne, some of them also over there in WA just to be able to cover as many needs as possible. And the team has worked so hard to really ensure that we are providing that high quality of service and guiding the installers and sometimes also the end customers through several issues. And we've really achieved really, really low hotline wait times. At some point, I think, at the majority of times, the average was a wait time of 7 minutes. But obviously, that's our own goal. We want to really make sure that people get the fastest service possible. Obviously, in peak times, or I don't know, sometimes there is a Monday in there where whysoever there's double the calls than every other day, you'll always have those days. But at the same time, I still have for myself currently working on a project actually to even improve tech support even more and really make sure that everyone gets the best service as is expected from a manufacturer from Fronius. And all of your Solar SOS users out there, a big thank you to all of you as well. You're making our life easier, but at the same time, I hope it makes your life easier as well, just for those easy, ordering replacements or really having one specific error. With the Solar SOS app, we've really seen that the customers or the installers are getting used to using it, and the feedback has been really good for a big majority of issues. It is a very quick way to resolve the issues and very straightforward. Obviously, there are more complex cases where there will always be a team member of ours available to, get everyone through it. But yeah, Solar SOS has been a big success as well.
Yeah, and Fronius has definitely built a reputation over the years as being, very high quality in terms of their support and service, and looking at different ways that we can make that better. Any tools, SOS being one of them, but any developments in that space, obviously that's something that we want to keep on taking to the next level, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Fantastic. So I guess that was a great, recap or looking back at 2024. And I'm sure a lot of you are excited to find out what's coming in 2025 in terms of products and solutions. But before we jump into those exact specifics, I thought I'd ask you, Mariella, what do you think is, your vision for 2025 or what you'd like to see happen, maybe from a Fronius perspective, maybe from an industry perspective, maybe both. Any thoughts there?
I think from a Fronius perspective, what I've learned in 2024, I want to take, and it took me until half of 2024 to really get used to that and understand how vital and necessary for us change is going to be in that whole industry going forward. So my mindset from the first day when I came back from vacation in 2025 is change is going to be the only constant for us this year.
Yeah.
There's so many projects in the plans which we're going to realize in the short term as well. But I think one big goal for me personally or for the whole team is I think we have to be more bold in bringing our brand out there. But we just need to be super active in marketing. I think marketing is the key to a lot of the problems out there, because obviously now thinking a little bit of the outside world, Australia and probably the whole world is facing high pressures, economic issues, obviously inflation, but the salary probably doesn't go the same way as cost of living. So obviously it's harder for people to make that additional investment and really follow that path of, especially with a proper investment, to make the right decision to go for quality.
Sure.
So I think marketing to also make the installer's life easier, that the end customer already understands why choosing a high quality product for your solar system is so important. So I think I want to work on both ends of course, supporting the installer, providing with the right materials so they can make that pitch to the end customer, but also already coming from the other side that ideally the end customer already has a basic education on who is Fronius, at least has a rough understanding what the brand stands for. That is something that is obviously a long-term goal, but that's something we really want to focus on working on in 2025. And in different areas, just consistently providing the hard work keeping up the hard work we're doing. And we have, I think, also the biggest sales team we've ever had, and we're just going to be all over the place. Get yourself ready.
Definitely. Okay, so jumping into specifics in terms of products or solutions, what do you want to talk about here?
Well, I can already say we're not going to be talking about everything. One thing we've also learned, I think it's sometimes better to keep a little bit of a surprise and surprise you guys positively than it's ready to order tomorrow. But there are some things we've already shared with the market at All Energy, which I'd like to highlight here as well. The Verto, for example, our commercial inverter, 25 to 33 kilowatts, is sitting in our warehouse, ready to be shipped. Sales partners have put the purchase orders in. Fortunately, certification is pending for way too long, but it can't be much longer anymore, I'm sure. Fingers crossed, everyone. And we're ready when the listing is there. Also, the Gen 24 12 kilowatt, which is gonna hybrid as well, which is going in the right direction of just providing a bigger power class to the market. With the hybrid inverter, we're seeing that is a big demand.
And higher current input.
Exactly, yeah. And also we're giving our Wattpilot a revamp. Check it out. I think communication will start to the market in a couple of weeks. It actually looks really, really cool and comes with some new features as well. So that's definitely something not to miss, and also an area for our industry where we can actually grow and, pick up a lot of new business. So I think everyone should be on board on the whole EV charger topic.
Yeah, awesome. And then I guess from a digital solutions perspective, so we launched the remote configuration function last year.
Everyone's loving that. Yeah.
Everyone's loving that. So that's essentially for any inverter that has a pilot monitoring card, so your Gen 24s, Toros, Verto when it's released, you're able through SolarWeb to get into the inverter interface, so into the web UI as we call it, and access any of those settings that you'd have if you were standing right in front of the inverter. So if you leave site, you need to change anything, maybe an export limitation setting or whatever it is, you can get in. So as you said, that's been a massive success and received really well by the market. And then I guess the other big space for us, especially in 2025 and onwards, is the VPP space, right? So there's a lot to be done there, various integrations that we're working on. Right now, we're compatible with Amber, which is, not a straightforward VPP, but they kind of fall within that space. And a lot of customers are using Amber, as we know. So we're looking to bring that forward as much as possible with other providers, Nectar, etc. And we're actually running a webinar on VPPs and Fronius and where we sit within that space in a week's time. So definitely tune into that for more information. Then I guess the next one I want to talk about was some of the things that are coming in from an industry perspective, I guess. So there are going to be some changes. We've seen some changes all around essentially grid stability, it comes down to, right? So the VIC emergency backstop was one that came in late last year. And then this coming year, we're going to have something similar in New South Wales, probably around September, I think. So likely similar to how we've managed that with, say, the VIC backstop using cloud-based controls. It's probably going to be along those lines, but we're still figuring that out with the industry. So there could be I know there's been calls for a more harmonized or standardized process with how that's done, but we're still waiting to see what the criteria will be there. The other one is the sun tax and two-way tariffs. So something like that's probably going to come in around June. And the idea there is essentially you could be getting penalized or taxed for exporting during peak solar production periods, so say the middle of the day, and then potentially being rewarded for times when there is lower solar generation and the grid needs it, so say after 4 p.m. or something like that. So
that is planned to be Australia-wide though, right?
I think so. Yeah. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen there in that space. But I guess from our perspective and how we'd address that, it looks like it's going to be something along the lines of a time-based export limitation setting, so that you don't get penalized and you get rewarded. That's what we're aiming for. Yeah.
With all of those topics, you can obviously be assured that Pat will keep you up to date on that. That is probably another thing which really is on our to-do list for this year. We want to make sure that all of our customers, all of you out there are really being kept up to date as well. So, just obviously sign up for our newsletters, tune into our webinars. We'll have all the latest industry news for you guys.
Yeah. One topic I forgot about was an amendment to 4777. It's going to be pretty minor. We don't see it affecting the industry in a big way, but anything that's really important about that that we think is important to communicate, we'll do something later on in the year. All right. One thing you mentioned back then, Mariella, was kind of linked to the event space. So I know that, I want to say that you're probably going to see a lot of us around the country, different sales engineers and other staff from Fronius doing different events. But yeah, Mariella, maybe you can give us a bit of a rundown what's planned for 2025 in that space.
Sure. Obviously, as I said, we want to make sure that all of you are being kept up to date. But at the same time, Pat also has prepared really, really good training sessions with a lot of CPD points as well. So we want to make sure to have them all available for all of you guys. So we're really going to be traveling also in very regional areas to deliver those trainings to all of you and to make sure that all of you have the possibility to attend without, needing to travel 2 hours. So also, again, the marketing team will keep you up to date via newsletters and also our social media to see where we'll be touring, I call it, this month and in which locations. So just, really make sure to get signed up for that. That will also obviously it's going to be training, but then really good networking sessions as well. And we just want to be, you know, as close to the market as we possibly can.
Yeah. I think we've covered everything for the year. Anything else? Final remarks?
Well, it's probably going to come a lot different than we anticipate now, but we have our plan set up and everything else. We're just going to adapt to changing environment as always. And, you know, everyone has been in the industry for a while that we know something unexpected is always going to come up, but we're confident that we can cope with everything, whatever comes our way. And yeah, looking forward to another successful year 2025. To be honest, I'm super energized. I can't wait for it to come. And yeah, no.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add, Pat?
Not really. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of our partners over the year at these events and just, you know, along the way, whether it's virtually or in person. Yeah, just looking forward to another year within the industry that's constantly evolving and always throwing different curveballs at us, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that brings us to the end. As I said, if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat box. I am going to be there to answer them. But yeah, until next time, take care, and yeah, I'll see you around. Thanks, Mariella.
Thanks, Pat.
So someone was asking about using the remote configuration function for snap inverters. That's not possible. It'll only be for the new inverters that have a pilot card, so your Gen 24s, Toros, Vertos, etc. Speaking of the Verto, someone had also asked about when we can expect that to be released. We had some good news today from the CEC. I know the application progressed a bit further. I know there was a meeting with our team. I'm not sure what the outcome of that was because I had to jump into meetings and then this webinar, but hopefully we'll have some good news very soon. For those that missed some of the webinar, people asking about a recording, you should be able to hear the recording by clicking on the registration link that was sent to your email where it said join the webinar. It should take you through the recording, but if there's any issues, just send us a message and we can get that working for you. Scott, you'd asked about why the term sun tax is always used. So I'm not sure where that comes from, but essentially you're getting taxed for using solar production, but I'm not sure, who coined that term. Hey, George, you're asking about the SIMO Gen 24 Plus 12 SC and whether we have a new updated oversizing document. I don't believe so, but I'll have a look into that and come back to you. Someone had asked about more larger commercial inverters with multiple trackers. It is something we're definitely working on. I'm not sure at this stage if we'll have that out this year, but as soon as we have more information, we'll communicate that. Hey, Levi, so you'd asked about, a gap in the new ranges between the 15 and 20 kilowatt range. Yes, that is something that we're aiming to fill with most likely hybrid offerings. I can also see another question from you about Wattpilot Flex. I'll send you a bit more information on that, Levi, to show you the differences there. George, you'd asked about some hybrid inverters between 30 and 100 kilowatts. I'll have to check what's in the works in that range. I know there's some stuff coming up to 30 kilowatts. In terms of timeline, I'll have to have a look for you as well. Ghazi, you'd asked about when is it going to be listed on the CEC. I think you're referring to the Verto, maybe. We're just waiting on that certification. Maybe you're referring to the SIMO 12 as well. We're also waiting on that certification, but hopefully very soon. Hey, Josh. So you'd asked about oversizing papers for the Gen 24. If there's going to be any updates there. I'll have a check on that for you because last time when I looked, they hadn't provided an updated document, but I'll have another look. All right, looks like there's no further questions coming through. Yep, I don't think there's any further questions coming through. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining the webinar. But other than that, have a great afternoon. Enjoy the very end of your January. I hope it's been a good start to the year so far. And I'll see you around. All right, take care. Bye.